Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita as it is. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the introduction, page number 27, Bhagavad Gita as it is. In the last video, we discussed about how one has to always think about Krishna, and that Bhakti Yoga is the highest form of yoga. Now continuing, we work not with our body actually, but with our mind and intelligence. So, if the intelligence and the mind are always engaged in the thought of the Supreme Lord, then naturally the senses are also engaged in His service. Superficially, at least, the activities of the senses remain the same, but the consciousness is changed. The Bhagavad Gita teaches one how to absorb the mind and intelligence in thought of the Lord. Such absorption will enable one to transfer himself to the kingdom of the Lord. If the mind is engaged in Krishna's service, then the senses are automatically engaged in His service. This is the art. And this is also the secret of Bhagavad Gita, total absorption in the thought of Sri Krishna. Modern man has struggled very hard to reach the moon, but he has not tried very hard to elevate himself spiritually. If one has 50 years of life ahead of him, he should engage that brief time in cultivating this practice of remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This practice is the devotional process. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23. These 9 processes, of which the easiest is Shravanam, hearing the Bhagavad Gita from the realized person, will turn one to the thought of the Supreme Being. This will lead to remembering the Supreme Lord and will enable one, upon leaving the body, to attain a spiritual body, which is just made for association with the Supreme Lord. The Lord further says, Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya paramam purusham divyam yati parthano chintayan. Quote, He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Arjuna, is sure to reach me. Unquote. Bhagavad Gita 8.8. This is not a very difficult process. However, one must learn it from an experienced person. Tad vijnanartham sa gurum evabhigachet. One must approach a person who is already in the practice. The mind is always flying to this and that, but one must practice concentrating the mind always on the form of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna or on the sound of His name. The mind is naturally restless, going hither and thither, but it can rest in the sound vibrations of Krishna. One must thus meditate on Paramam Purusham, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the spiritual kingdom, the spiritual sky, and thus attain Him. So here the 9 processes of Bhakti Yoga are mentioned. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service, and the first is Shravanam, which is hearing. That is the easiest and the most powerful way of bhakti. Um, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Mother Rukmini writes the world's first love letter to Lord Krishna. In that, Mother Rukmini says, "O dear Lord, I have heard so much about you, and my heart has got attached to you." So, Mother Rukmini, through the hearing, she got attached to the Lord. It is said that the hearing process is the most powerful, and it is given as the first process of Bhakti Yoga. Srila Prabhupada has time and again reinforced the importance of hearing, and not just hearing, but hearing from a bona fide source. See, if it is just hearing, it doesn't work that way, because many times in our country especially, there are numerous people who are very good in speaking Bhagavad Gita. They're very good in speaking about Srimad Bhagavatam. We have in every town and city, we have this Saptaham where 7 days Bhagavatam is spoken. And there are numerous people who are very expert professionals in speaking about these great literatures. In fact, they're so good in it that they even make it so entertaining. People sit there and they have the music playing, they have these drum beats, and it's very entertaining. So, how do we know which is bona fide and which is not? One way to test whether the source is bona fide is that after hearing, has it changed you? See, what happens is many times people like to hear these things. People like to hear Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they go for Saptaham. They do hear it a lot. There's a lot of Shravanam going on. But has their life changed? Or they go and listen to 1 hour of Bhagavatam and they come home and switch on the television and watch the masala on the television, or they watch the Bollywood movies, and they just continue with their lifestyle. Whatever they have been doing, they continue doing that. It has not made an impact on their soul. It has not changed their lifestyle. So that means that source is not bona fide. Millions of people all over the world, people who have been in extreme sense gratificatory lifestyle, the hippies, they have been eating meat, they have been womanizing and alcoholics. All of these people have been completely transformed into pure Vaishnavas upon hearing Srila Prabhupada's talks, upon reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And how did that happen? Because Srila Prabhupada represents a bona fide, a pure Vaishnava, a bona fide lineage. Srila Prabhupada has always, time and again, repeated the importance of following a bona fide parampara. So when you listen, when the Shravanam is from a bona fide parampara, it makes an impact on you. It changes you from within. Your core is changed. Your core is transformed. It is not like the so-called Sunday religion, where you go to the church on Sunday, you confess about your sins, then you go back home and back to your regular lifestyle, your usual lifestyle, which is full of sense gratification. It is not like that. When the Shravanam is from a bona fide, pure spiritual parampara, such as the Gaudiya parampara, of which ISKCON is the Gaudiya parampara, then it transforms you. It makes an impact on your soul. So Shravanam is very important part of Bhakti Yoga. It is the first part and it is the most important. So one must meditate on the Paramam Purusham, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual kingdom, the spiritual sky, and thus attain Him. The ways and the means for ultimate realization, ultimate attainment are stated in Bhagavad Gita, and the doors of this knowledge are open for everyone. No one is barred out. All classes of men can approach Lord Krishna by thinking of Him, for hearing and thinking of Him are possible for everyone. Srila Prabhupada was a great revolutionary. He made a radical change in the way scriptures are accessible for everyone. Before Srila Prabhupada, the scriptural knowledge used to be the prerogative of a selected few people, and they used to keep it secretive. And unfortunately, our country had a wrong understanding of caste system, and the so-called Brahmanas, or the learned class, kept the treasure of the spiritual wisdom to them and their progeny. So we had this perverted view of a caste system where one is a Brahmana by birth, not according to the qualification. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the guru of Srila Prabhupada, was very instrumental. He worked very hard to remove these wrong understanding of the caste system and who is a real Brahmana. See, these were the deep-rooted evils of the society. A Brahmana is not by birth, by qualification. So, with the inspiration of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada made a revolutionary change in way the Brahmin caste or the learned caste is understood. So today, thanks to Srila Prabhupada, people from any corner of the world, no matter if you are European, you're American, you're African, you are so-called untouchable, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you follow the regulative principles and if you lead a pure life and you can study the Shastras and you are a Brahmin or you are the learned class, and above the Brahmin is a Vaishnava. Vaishnava is a person who is completely surrendered to the lotus feet of Mukunda, Lord Sri Krishna. So that was the introduction, and I move on to the third verse of Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are in the battlefield, and Arjuna just said why he didn't want to fight, and Krishna gives him advice. He has not yet started, he has not taken on the role of a guru yet, but he is surprised. Oh, how did these impurities come on you, Arjuna? And he goes on to say, verse number 3, Klaibyam smagamah partha naitattvai upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyakto tishta parantapa. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Arjuna was addressed as the son of Pritha, who happened to be the sister of Krishna's father Vasudeva. Therefore, Arjuna had a blood relationship with Krishna. If the son of a Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in name only. And if the son of a Brahmana acts impiously, he is a Brahmana in name only. Such Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are unworthy sons of their fathers. Therefore, Krishna did not want Arjuna to become an unworthy son of a Kshatriya. Arjuna was the most intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. But, in spite of all these credits, if Arjuna abandoned the battle, he would be committing an infamous act. Therefore, Krishna said that such an attitude in Arjuna did not fit his personality. Arjuna might argue that he would give up the battle on the grounds of his magnanimous attitude for the most respectable Bhishma and his relatives. But Krishna considered that sort of magnanimity mere weakness of heart. Such false magnanimity was not approved by any authority. Therefore, such magnanimity or so called non violence should be given up by persons like Arjuna under the direct guidance of Krishna. So, here the main point is that Krishna says, Krishna chastised Arjuna very harshly. He calls him impotent. You see, be a man, man up. That's basically what Krishna says. Don't talk like this. That doesn't become of, forget Kshatriya, not even a man. You are on the battlefield, you are a Kshatriya of a glorious heritage. And when you're when the war is about to begin, you're talking of running away from battle. That is so disgraceful. And don't think that people will think it's out of your magnanimity that you are doing this. People would just say, oh, you got scared and you ran away. So don't do this. That's very inglorious thing to do. And here Arjuna is referred to as Partha because Pritha is Krishna's aunt, Sri Vasudeva's sister, and Pritha is Arjuna's mother. So Krishna is forming that more intimate bond by calling him as Partha. Look, you're my cousin, you're related to me, and don't do this kind of work which will spoil the image of the glorious family that you're representing. And give up such petty weakness of heart. So Krishna uses harsh words to pep up Arjuna or just to provoke him into war. In Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna very wisely, goes step by step by step by step. In the 18 chapters, he talks first about, just if a warrior is not really fighting, the best thing is to provoke him. Come on, he did that to you, go fight. That's the easy way to provoke him. If that doesn't work, then he goes more deeper and more deeper. So over the 18 chapters, we find Krishna using different tactics and techniques to encourage Arjuna to take a decision. And Arjuna says that he gives the argument that he feels compassion for the people like Bhishma and Drona, and such compassion is misplaced. That is not a proper compassion. You should feel compassion for the soul of the person. And here one important point Prabhupada has mentioned is the so-called non-violence. You see, many people criticize Gita saying that Krishna is encouraging violence. And I've heard that the Jain community, which is so much into non-violence, actually thinks of Krishna as a villain because he encouraged Arjuna into violence. Arjuna was non-violent and he was ready to leave the battle, but Krishna pushed him into violence. And what happened as a result? So many Akshaunis of Sena, 18,000 Akshaunis of Sena, bloodshed. Every person on the earth was literally wiped out. So much of bloodshed. So that is like really too much of violence. And Krishna was responsible for that. And there are many people who misunderstand the whole concept of Gita. See, violence has its place in the society. When violence is needed, it has to be done. Not doing that is a cowardly act. So when violence is needed, it is needed. One thing to understand is that Krishna killed many asuras, many demons when he incarnated, and that was the supreme act of compassion on the part of Krishna, because these asuras, if they continue in their present body, they will do more and more and more sins, and their baggage of sins will increase. So the best way to put a stop to that is to finish that body, and when someone dies with the hands of the Supreme Lord Krishna, at once he gets liberated. So if a violent person continues in that body, he does more violence, he's doing himself more harm. So in a way, capital punishment is justified. So killing the demon is an act of compassion. So he gets a new body, he gets a new chance to begin his life. The Atma is not burdened by so much of sins. So therefore, neither violence is promoted nor non-violence is promoted. All depends on the time, place and circumstances. So with that, we end verse number 3 of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Hope you have understood something, benefited in some way, and thank you so much for listening. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please do share your comments. I look forward to hearing your feedback. Please share it with your friends and family. Please subscribe to the channel. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. See you next time. Till then, Hare Krishna.